Hello dear viewers, my name is Fardeen Nouri and I'm an immigration consultant in Germany. As you know, I explained for you in my previous videos about the rejection of the asylum application by the Federal Office for Migration and Refugees of Germany, its types, and what you should do against it so that you can possibly stay in Germany. In this video, I'll explain for you about the fact that how you can better decide yourself about a voluntary return to your country of origin, where you can get the best support for returning and reintegration in your country of origin, and how you can return to your country of origin voluntarily in a best way. If you have the obligation to leave Germany based on Section 50, subsection 1 of the German Residence Act, because you do not have the required residence permit and all the possibilities of getting a residence permit in Germany for you have been exhausted, you have to decide yourself to either voluntarily return to your country of origin, wait for a deportation, or live illegally in Germany. In fact, the obligation to leave Germany will not yet be enforceable until the deadline for voluntary return does not expire, and the voluntary return always takes priority over a deportation. If you are required to leave Germany, there are many governmental and non-governmental services help you return to your country of origin. For example, you may receive startup and reintegration assistance. When the asylum seekers get a negative decision from the Federal Office for Migration and Refugees of Germany for their asylum application, in this decision there is usually also a request from this office for the rejected asylum seekers to leave Germany within a specific period of time. Otherwise, he or she will be deported. Because the voluntary return takes priority over the deportation, the request to leave the country contains a deadline within which the person should leave Germany. In case of rejection of an asylum application as obviously unfounded, which in German it's called offensichtlich unbegründet, or in case of a rejection as inadmissible, which in German it's called unzulässig, the deadline to leave Germany is 1 week. And in case of a rejection as unfounded or simple rejection, which in German is called unbegründet or einfache Ablehnung, the deadline to leave Germany is 30 days. In case the rejected asylum seeker wants to leave Germany voluntarily, he or she should inform his or her respective foreigner's office or Ausländerbehörde within this time is specified by the Federal Office for Migration and Refugees of Germany that he or she is ready to leave Germany voluntarily. As a rule, the departure should take place during the time specified by this office in its negative decision. However, if necessary, it's also possible to set a date for leaving Germany voluntarily after this deadline in communication with your respective foreigner's office, for example, when children are about to complete their school year. After the deadline for leaving Germany expires, the rejected asylum seekers can be deported. But this does not mean that they will be automatically deported. A voluntary return can still be considered even after the deadline to leave Germany, and this can be done with the help of a return counseling center, which in German it means Rückkehrberatungsstelle in a best way. In fact, the voluntary return can have some advantages over a deportation. The traumatizing aspect of a deportation, which is unannounced, usually at night, accompanied by police officers, and possibly with the shackles, can be avoided. In contrast to a deportation, a voluntary return can be planned within narrow limits. For example, you can buy what you need to take with you, say goodbye to close friends, and relatives, and possibly also get donations or subsidies for the start in the destination country. For many countries, there are travel allowances and sometimes other support services. For example, with funds from the International Organization for Migration, or IOM. Through a voluntary return, one escapes the entry and residence ban, the so-called re-entry ban, according to Section 11 of the German Residence Act, which arises automatically in the event of deportation. This can be particularly useful if there is the possibility to re-enter the country with a visa for an alternative residence permit, for example through a spouse reunification or for the purpose of employment. In such cases, before getting a visa, a preliminary approval of the foreigner's office will usually be needed so that the visa procedure is speeded up. People from so-called safe countries of origin whose asylum application is considered obviously unfounded always receive, even in the case of a voluntary return, an entry and residence ban in accordance with Section 11, subsection 7 of the German Residence Act. This is usually up to 12 months, and when leaving the country by land, the German embassy in the destination country registers this information. Whether a voluntary return takes place is the decision of the persons concerned. It is important not to be rushed to do so, but to make an informed decision about it. Therefore, before deciding about it, it is advisable to obtain a return counseling from an independent institution, for example, from a welfare association. You can find the contact details of the governmental or independent return counseling centers in your area if you go to the website www.returningfromgermany.de. Return counseling is individual and non-binding. It does not oblige you to leave Germany. It does not affect your asylum procedure. Voluntary return enables you to return and to plan your start in your country of origin. The return counselor explains the possibilities of support that are available for you individually. If you decide for a voluntary return and lack the means, your return counseling center submits with you an application for a voluntary return at International Organization for Migration, or IOM, and explains the necessary steps to you. You will receive organizational support. The travel costs will be covered as well. When returning voluntarily, you have to sign that you withdraw your asylum application and waive or abandon the legal means. Depending on your nationality, you can also receive financial startup assistance. The return counselor can tell you whether or not there are reintegration programs for returnees available in your country of origin. This kind of support after your return is not possible in every country of origin. If you need medical assistance, you can be accompanied when traveling to your country of origin. Where unaccompanied minors are concerned, the situation is examined carefully and it is made sure that they will be picked up at their arrival. If you come back to Germany permanently, you have to pay back the received assistance. Only nationals of non-EU member states can be assisted by the voluntary return programs. There is no legal entitlement to support when returning voluntarily. It is worth mentioning that the return counseling has no influence on the decision of the German authorities. As said before, after the decision for a voluntary return, during the return counseling, the counseling center will help you submit an application for the financial support. There are various funding programs, the nature and the amount of which varies from country of origin to country of origin. The best known is the IOM's Reintegration and Immigration Program for Asylum Seekers in Germany and Government-Assisted Repatriation Program, also known as REAG-GARP, which includes travel expenses, travel allowances, additional medical expenses, and startup aid. In addition, there is another support program named Starthilfe Plus. This is a return program which creates an additional financial incentive, making it easier for returnees to regain a foothold in their home country in over 40 countries of origin. It is intended for asylum seekers with little chance of being granted asylum who would prefer to go back to their home country. To be eligible for funding under Starthilfe Plus, migrants must decide to return voluntarily within the period set for their departure. Here, I would like to explain for you shortly the process of voluntary return and reintegration. When you are thinking of returning to your country of origin, you can book an appointment at a counseling center, discuss your options with a return counselor, and if you want, apply for assisted return. Then you can plan your journey, and if you're eligible, you will receive organizational, financial, and medical support. After that, it's time for your departure. And after your arrival in your country of origin, based on your nationality and your needs, you will get reintegration support. Thanks a lot for watching my video. If you would like to get similar important information about the immigration laws in Germany, your rights and duties in German society, the living conditions in Germany, and other such important topics, please subscribe and follow our channel. If you have any questions or remarks about today's topic, you can write it under this video and I will be more than happy to answer it for you.